Chief among the post-financial crisis mandates is the building of a robust and standardized system of global data distribution and storage, but the task has proven to be more difficult than expected. Maryse Gordon of UnaVista, London Stock Exchange Group's trade repository and approved reporting mechanism, outlines the challenges and solutions for data matching, validation, reconciliation, and reporting across multiple jurisdictions.
Well, we focus primarily on regulatory reporting and derivatives, and we're looking at the US, the Canadian and the European markets. The main focus was around EMIR and MiFID and the upcoming MiFIR regulation, and basically looking at the ways that they are similar or they're different between each other, what the industry is trying to do to encourage global harmonisation around regulatory reporting, and then primarily focusing on the systems and controls that firms are having to have in place in order to support their regulatory reporting framework. And what you see is that there's obviously going to be an issue around the specifications that you have with one versus another, primarily things around the standards that they have to report. So, for example, in MiFID reporting, you have to identify a counterparty as a SWIFT code or an FRN code. However, with the EMIR, you have to identify them with an LEI code. So again, there's disparities between the two when you're trying to harmonise or standardise the reporting. You've got some regulations reporting in CSV, some in XML, XBRL is another one that's going to be introduced as well. So there isn't really a common format that's been reported across jurisdictions. It's all dependent on the local competent authority who's receiving it as to how they want to consume that data. For a regulatory reporting perspective under MiFID, for example, UnaVista is an approved reporting mechanism, so we can work in a twofold manner from that. So firms can either send us data in a structured format, we will just act as the validation engine and then directly send that data onto the competent authority. The second model, and this is the more common model these days, is to act as a rules engine and basically take data in from the firms in any structured format. We then apply logic, business logic and regulatory logic on top of that data, normalize it, validate it, enrich it, and then distribute that out to the competent authorities. So the benefit of that is that they can then, have a centralized warehouse of all their regulatory reporting data, and that can then be managed across multiple different jurisdictions for multiple different regulations. So they're basically having a solution that gives them a centralized view of all their regulatory reporting activity. If you're taking a more of a strategic approach to your regulatory reporting, it makes it a lot more easier to facilitate all of those different, specifications that you have to conform to. Technology is always advancing, and there are firms out there that are following the trends and trying to keep up to date with what's required in the industry. So I think providing you've got a flexible technology solution in place, you should be able to keep up to date with any changes. I know that every time a new regulation comes out, there's always something that's been introduced to the industry. So for example, under MiFIR, it's the reporting of personal data. So that's not been something that's happened in MiFID, for example. It's going to be a new introduction, and maybe a new part of the business now needs to think about technically how are they going to provide that data into their regulatory reports. However, the solution that they choose to use for reporting should be able to help facilitate the consumption of that data, the transformation, and then the onward reporting to the regulator.